Hello everyone, welcome to the Redmen TV. It's player ratings after Liverpool got a win, 3 points and a clean sheet. The poll for Adrian is live and it is open. If you want to vote for Adrian, then type into the chat, !vote, put a space in, then a number out of 10, and then click that enter button and you'll be able to get your vote registered for Adrian. You can see already that votes for 7 have already come in. Loads of votes for 7, in fact 8. I can see loads and loads of votes flying in there now. Listen, clean sheet for a start. Maybe for a Liverpool goalkeeper, a clean sheet should be an automatic 10 right now. But no, look, I want to do it seriously. And Adrian, he had a couple of wobbles, didn't he? A couple of maybe miscommunications, but one of them crucially was for the one where Kabak puts the ball into his net. It was a good line. Now, I'd like to see my keeper come out in that situation, but ultimately it was a good line by the defence. And he hasn't conceded a goal. He looked a little bit wobbly at times, but he makes 3 saves and he keeps a clean sheet. And that's all that matters for me right now when Liverpool are talking about defenders. And I can see I had him as a 7 out of 10. You guys have given him a 7 out of 10 as well. I think that's absolutely spot on for Adrian, who comes in he probably had a couple of days notice, probably knows that he's going to be featured in this one. So maybe not as much time as he'd like to have worked with the likes of Kabak and Phillips. But regardless, we've opened the vote now for Trent Alexander-Arnold. Some really good work. So as I say, if you do want to vote, then type in !vote space, then the number out of 10, click that enter button. We tally them all up, as you can see, using our wonderful poll, and then that is it. That is gospel then. That is the rating that they are going to get. Trent Alexander-Arnold, for me, he did some great work for the Kurt Jones goal. Obviously, he has like 2 or 3 bites of the cherry there. And again, this lad seems to have been coming into form. While all else falters around him, Trent's form has just been steadily getting better and better. And maybe it plateaued a little bit today. You know, he had a couple of key passes and stuff like that as well. But defensively, he's looking all right. I know he's working with Phillips and he's worked with Phillips in the past and stuff like that. But he's given us options going forward. And he looks much more like his old self, doesn't he, in that regard? And for me, I'd probably have him about an 8 out of 10 personally. And I can see that the poll's just ended actually, and an 8 out of 10 with 54% of the vote. Again, so well done, Trent Alexander-Arnold. Next is Nat Phillips. Goodness me, these magnets do my head in. So Nat Phillips doesn't put a foot wrong. Wins most of his headers. I think he wins 7 of 12 aerial duels today, which is just class, isn't it? Again, against a big, physical Sheffield United side who want to attack aerially as well. I thought he stood up and was counted once again. Looked great with that haircut as well, doesn't he? It's a proper lockdown haircut. I mean, I know, I've done exactly the same as him. But yeah, I mean, obviously he's played with Kabak for what, 75 minutes or so heading into tonight. So he knows what's going to be asked of him. No Davies again. Reece Williams on the bench. He's definitely, like, if you think about where he was at the start of the season and, you know, once the injury to Van Dijk happens and stuff, Phillips for me was behind probably Reece Williams, and now he's pushed himself in front because he's not beaten himself. And another performance where you know what you're going to get out of Nat Phillips each and every week at the moment. And most of the time, it's a 7 out of 10. And that's probably where I have him. But the vote has ended and he's been given an 8 out of 10. And I can't disagree with that, to be honest with you. And look, we're going to come on to a centre-back partner now. We're going to open that vote up. But I thought the two of them did quite well tonight. And, you know, it would have been easy, you know, after I mentioned before that Kabak one who he puts it in, I was fuming on the stream because I just thought it was ridiculous. You've got to play the whistle. I think he should have cleared it anyway. But the line is where the game ends almost, isn't it? The line was right. They played the lad offside. A couple of minutes later, Ross mentioned it in commentary, they didn't drop again. The two of them played the line and they played the line perfectly and they played him offside again. So that's good communication between the two of them. I'm sure they've been working together in training on getting that type of the mental side of things right. And the two of them did it time and time again today, where Sheffield United players were caught offside. Kabak's done well defending as well when they are onside. He's come back, he's got one just before he was about to pull the trigger and probably score, to be honest with you. Gets one out for a corner. He does the same again. He's done quite well at that recovery tackle when the ball over the top has worked. So again, not with you know, obviously withstanding or not talking about the one that he knocks into net and it's disallowed. Generally speaking, he was quite solid again. So I'm pretty pleased with that. And he's been given a 7 out of 10 there for that one. So well done, Kabak. And then Andy Robertson was mentioned in the Red Mention show, actually played quite high up the pitch today. And I do think he's missing his mate Sadio Mane, and Sadio Mane was there today. But he definitely doesn't seem to, they don't seem to be working as well together. But played quite high up the pitch, he was quite an option. Saw the ball from Trent or Thiago over the top to Andy Robertson a few times. And he kept on going, kept trying to force things, make things happen. Couple of key passes, just looking at the stats as well for Andy Robertson today. Defensively, he's always good. You're never really going to get in behind Andy Robertson. He's got that engine to get up and down every single time he's needed. But it's where he supports the attack. That's where it's crucial for Andy Robertson, isn't it? He has that shot as well. He slices over the bar. Another good performance, again, from Andy Robertson. And it's what we've come to expect, I think. First 3 months of the season, he was my player of the year. I think because he's not been able to be spelled by the likes of Chimikas and stuff like that, he has tired a little bit. And while Liverpool have struggled, I think he's struggled a little bit. Whether it's tiredness, I'm not 100% sure. But it's definitely sort of a 7 or an 8 out of 10 performance for me. And I can see as the poll ends, 7 wins by a vote from 8 out of 10. So just 1 vote more gives him a 7 out of 10 on the night. We're going to open the poll up next for Gini Wijnaldum. And I thought Gini was really good today. And I think it's difficult to play that DM role in a side that keeps a clean sheet to really be noticed. But for me, Gini was there. Gini was not just playing the DM role, but he was actually an option going forwards. And I think about, the first goal, I think it is, where he kind of sets the line where Firmino used to. He says, you're not coming past there. He recycles possession, plays out to Trent Alexander-Arnold. And he did that quite a lot, where he kind of just went, this is my area here. And I thought Gini Wijnaldum was really good tonight. Really good outing. Solid as well when he's facing our goal and he's going back towards our goal. But crucially for me, it was making sure that he was able to support the attack and not concede his position on the field as well. So, yeah, really good performance from Gini Wijnaldum. I can't wait to see him in the 8. Whether that's when we bring Fabinho back in and he moves back into an 8 or something like that. But his best work is in that 8, but he's doing an admirable job as our third choice DM. He's playing really well at the moment, and thank goodness as well, because without him protecting Kabak and Phillips, who knows what could have happened. And he gets a well-deserved 8 out of 10 with 57% of the vote tonight. So well done, Gini Wijnaldum. Next then, we're going to move up and we're going to open the vote for Thiago Alcantara. Thiago's just a player that he just oozes class, doesn't he? But I think for today, for me anyway, obviously it's difficult because we're doing the comments, we're watching the game, we're trying to commentate a little bit, we're talking about penises. So there's a lot going on is what I'm trying to tell you, but it felt like it was more a more measured display from Thiago today. I wonder if that's fair, because he felt more functionary tonight than really sort of, we've seen a lot of this Thiago where he's playing those sort of slide rule passes and looking one way and playing the ball the other, no look passes and stuff like that. But it felt to me like he just performed this function really well tonight, and maybe that's why he didn't stand out as much to me. But yeah, there's clearly an understanding of the role now. And the more he plays that, the more he'll understand this role in that side. And I think it's also probably helped that he's had a couple of games with the same lads. Wijnaldum there, Jones there, and obviously Jones is a young player and Thiago should be one of the leaders in this side for his age, and even though he is new in his experiences, it's still going to take time. He's actually playing with a midfield that he's played with a few times. It feels like he kind of understands it, and I think you've got the mark spot on there. I give him a 7, you've given him a 7 with a high proportion of the votes as well. So we'll move on then. The guy who breaks the game open, it's Kurt Jones, Scouser. Love that. Great finish from Kurt Jones as well. Great little touch after the game where he dedicates that goal to Alisson Becker's father. Brilliant touch of class for such a young player. Obviously understands the gravitas of the situation, understands what the squad are feeling and how his goalkeeper's feeling. So really great to hear him say that after the game as well. But it's his performance on the pitch that we're here to rate, not his talking afterwards. And his performance on the pitch, once again, he is throwing a marker down right now. He's going to tell you, look, we haven't had enough goals from midfield this season. We haven't had enough goals from midfield for a couple of years, to be honest. But it's not so noticeable when you're winning games all the time. Kurt Jones gets a goal tonight. It's great work, I mentioned before, from Trent Alexander-Arnold. to get us into a position where he can cut that ball back. Kurt Jones just does the simple thing well. He hits the target, he smashes it, he scores the goal. And it's what the strikers were struggling with first half, isn't it? Just get it on target. Like we saw Bobby cut the ball back across when you just wanted him to smash the ball at the net. That's what Kurt Jones did. And he opened up that performance, and he opened up the fact that Liverpool could go and win that game. And he gets a well-deserved 9 out of 10. And he got the man of the match from whatever broadcaster it was tonight, Sky, wasn't it? And he probably gets my man of the match as well. So yeah, brilliant. We're going to open up then for Mo Salah next. And I thought he had a much better first half than second half, if I'm honest. I think he maybe, I don't know whether it was tiredness or he just struggled to get into the game a little bit more second half, whether Sheffield United did something a little bit different. I'm not 100% sure. But for me, I think, I say, first half much better. Gets a couple of one-on-ones on. A couple of good saves from Ramsdale. He forces as well. I think he missed one big chance. That was probably the one where Ramsdale saves low with his right foot. But yeah, second half not quite as prolific, not quite as involved. But you know, there's another one where Bobby flips the ball over the top. I think that might have been that one actually. But again, first half, I saw him grab the ball and sort of drift over across the line, and I think that's the one for Gini Wijnaldum's shot actually, where he drops that shoulder and he goes inside, and yeah, forces another good save from Aaron Ramsdale. But yeah, decent performance, as solid a 7 out of 10 performance as you're going to see from Mo Salah. No goal. He looked really pissed off when he didn't get that goal at the back stick, didn't he? Which is great to see from a lad. It shows how hungry he is, and he does indeed get a 7 out of 10. Next up then, it's Sadio Mane, and probably like, I'm looking at the marks now and I'm seeing 7s and 8s and a 9 out of 10, and I'm not sure Sadio Mane was quite up there. And you know, for me, I think I'll be honest, I think I had him closer to a 6 out of 10, and maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just a little bit down at the moment with everything that's going on in not just the world, but more specifically the football, because I can see already loads of 7s coming in for Sadio, and you know, he was a little bit involved at times and created a good couple. I think he created 2 key chances, but for me, he was just a little bit quiet. And I've mentioned it a few times, you know, certainly during comms, that one way he was running down that left-hand side, he looked like he wasn't running quite right. And I don't know whether he's carrying injury, but him and Robbo aren't working as well as they normally work. Like, they normally linking up and playing these 1-2s. Robbo was now playing them with Kurt. And he was drifting inside and stuff, but maybe he was just occupying a player tonight, and that's why I've not seen it. But, you know, for me, I think maybe, and I'm not to say that he had a bad game, but I think he was Liverpool's quietest player tonight. So yeah, he does in fact just about get a 6. I hope I haven't heavily influenced that one, because I gave my rating quite early and I normally try to give them quite late. So I'm sure I'm sure you've got your own opinion, and you'll give that regardless of mine. So next up, we're opening the poll up for the last of the starters. It's Bobby Firmino then. Bobby gets a much needed goal, doesn't he? And I know it comes off a deflection, but the work that he does for that goal is just superb. Plays a lovely little 1-2, plays another little 1-2. He's still got 4 men between him and the goal. There's no way, by rights, he shouldn't be able to get a shot up there, but he jinks his way through, gets the shot off, and then obviously I think it might have even, is it given as an own goal? I'm not sure. It should be, surely. And Ramsdale can't do anything. It's a wicked deflection. But there was times when he was a really good creative force, and there was times during that game where he was Bobby, the lad who's not a striker, playing a striker role. And we had a little bit of everything from him. And you know, I'm not going to have a go at him for not being a lethal finisher, but it's frustrating when you're watching, because you just want your centre forward to be that lethal finisher. But he gives us so much more to his game as well, doesn't he, than that. But ultimately he gets a goal, and he might even get an assist for Kurt Jones. I mean, the angles were a little bit inconclusive as to who actually got that touch, because it came off someone after Trent, and it might be like a little flick back by Bobby Firmino. He's just the type of player where you think he actually might have meant that, because it's Bobby Firmino and that's the type of stuff that he did. But his link-up play was really good tonight as well. You know, he's not going to be that poacher number 9, but he can be a creative influence for good as well. He gets an 8 out of 10, and I think I had him down as a 7/8 for me, so I'm all right with that. And then finally, I'm not going to open the poll up for James Milner and stuff, because he does what you expect him to do. He comes into that game, there's about 14, 15 minutes left to play, and he's just a calming influence. It's exactly what James Milner is. What I will talk about, though, a little bit, and maybe I'll just give Milner a 6 out of 10, whatever. But what I will talk about is Naby Keita, because Naby Keita comes into that game and almost instantly beats a man and tries to play Mane through. And that's what we've missed, that sort of cut and thrust from the middle of the park. And I really hope between now and the end of the season, Keita's injury look changes at Liverpool, because we really need him right now. He's the type of player who can break a game open because he's just so different to what we've got. And you know, we know what Gini Wijnaldum is, and he's a very functional midfielder. He's industrious. James Milner's the same. Henderson can be the same at times, but Naby Keita's not. He's a creative spark, and he's going to just do something a little bit different, whether that's just beat a man. I love the way he dribbles with his head up, like he doesn't need to look at the ball, he's just always looking for a little pass and stuff. And you know what, for coming into the game after so long out, I was really, really pleased to see Naby, and he probably did enough for me to just knock him up to a 7 out of 10 from that 6. So I'm just so excited to see him back. But yeah, that's the player ratings. Thank you to everybody who's got involved again. Massively appreciated. Love doing this show where you get to vote for him and stuff. I think it's really good, and I'm glad that we can do something that I don't think any other fan channel is doing either. Puts us a step ahead of the competition, as I like to say, which is always really cool. Like to push the boundaries and do something different. Like, I hope you noticed as well over the last sort of year, we've done a real big charge on making sure that we're trying to be more inclusive of the people who are watching these videos and stuff, and make it more two-way broadcast. This is part of that for me. So yeah, I'm really glad that we're able to do it. We'll be back very, very shortly with the instant match reaction. Give us 5 minutes, write a little bit of an agenda, get that together. Ben Kelly's going to come in for this one. So I'm really looking forward to talking to Ben about the game, because I've not spoken to Ben about the game yet. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for subscribing. We'll see you on the instant match reaction very, very shortly.